Good afternoon, everyone. Whoa. My hair, it's all gone. Yeah, I finally got a haircut. Got to look a little bit sharp now and then. But welcome back to the Daily Squeeze. Today is Tuesday. It is a Tuesday, first day of the trading week. We had the holiday yesterday with President's Day. Hope everyone enjoyed that nice long holiday weekend. I certainly did. Played some golf, enjoyed some cold weather, ate some good food. I smoked some ribs the other day, so it was a good, nice, relaxing long weekend. But nonetheless, welcome back. If you are new, my name is Brian Farr. I am the VP of Stock Analytics with Stock Dads. Been with Stock Dads since the very beginning. You can find me in my channel, also known as Fuzz. But yeah, welcome. Today is Tuesday, February the 20th. A little bit of a pullback today, maybe some nervous hands out there as the market gets ready and braces itself really for NVDA earnings, which is tomorrow afternoon. I know everybody and their mama is pretty much watching NVIDIA, and yeah, rightfully so. It's pretty important, leader of the AI field, so off we go. But yeah, tech did give us a nice little pullback. The NASDAQ dropping 0.9%, while the S&P got us a little bit of a dip as well, 0.6%. Dow Jones also fell about 60 points. Volatility index did spike up to about 8% today. And even though we got a little bit of a pullback, stocks are still sitting near lifetime highs, pretty much driven by the continued frenzy over artificial intelligence. We saw semiconductors pull back in general. SMCI had a pretty big pullback today, but she did end up recovering throughout the day, so not too bad on that end. Home Depot this morning released their earnings, as well as Walmart. Walmart posted some pretty good earnings, as well as increasing their dividend, the largest dividend increase in about 10 years. They're also buying out Vizio. Home Depot on their earnings, they were pretty interesting. The sales exceeded expectations despite a cool down for demand, but the outlook definitely painted a mixed picture out there for the home improvement business, and that also sent some of its rivals lower as well. So some interesting numbers there if you want to get involved in that and take a look there for Home Depot and Walmart. Be sure to check that out. But all eyes are, bracing for tomorrow. We got FOMC minutes tomorrow afternoon. Could be a nothing burger, but we're just going to be getting some insight into the general FOMC meeting that they had recently. And then, of course, in the afternoon session, we have NVIDIA earnings. And, like I said, everybody's going to be paying attention to that, of course. But all right, a pretty good session today overall on my end. I had 5 out of 7 trades, and we'll go over one of them specifically that I want to take a look at with you guys. But all right, let's jump into things. This is your Daily Squeeze. All right, jumping into the market internals grid here that I have, we can pretty much see here on this middle grid here, the ES down about 0.65%. Couldn't really hold above the VWAP. Same thing with the NQ, just all day, just a little bit of a struggle. You can pretty much confirm that with the tick readings here today. As you can see, the moving average here on these tick readings, it never had a chance to really hold itself above the zero line. We did have a little bit of a bid there around 1 o'clock, but they all eventually petered out. The highest tick reading that we had was 817 on the day. That's kind of sluggish, nothing too crazy at all. Even the advanced decline, we had that reading at minus 1100. Had some nice little gains there, but it was just pretty much quiet and to the downside for the remainder of the day. So yeah, a little bit yucky out there. Maybe the market just trying to gather itself before NVIDIA earnings. But one thing I definitely want to take a look at today is the Google trade that we took. And here's the SPY 1 minute, but I want to take you on a journey today with the Google setup because we took two of them. The first one didn't really go too well. The second one went on swimmingly. So the first trade that we did take here on Google was at around 10:05 here. And, you know, this was a pretty good entry, you know, in my opinion. We had this nice little crossover of the moving averages. Google was actually relatively strong compared to the rest of the market. If you compare where Google was at 10 o'clock compared to, you know, the main indices, Google was quite potent there. We also had some upward thrust signals. Upward thrust signals can give us flight, and it certainly did. And this was pretty much the start of the move here. And as you can see, the trend, the STAD oscillator here turned bullish, a little bit neutral bull. So we were technically a little early on it, but nonetheless, we got in. And we eventually got stopped out because the broader markets were looking very weak. ES started to sell off. So we had this nice little pop, and then we pulled back here to the 50 simple here on the 1 minute chart. And this is with extended market data turned off. A lot of y'all know that I do leave extended data off because it skews my indicators a little bit too much, and so it is definitely more favorable to leave them off on my end. But, you know, that's just a personal touch of mine if you want to know more. Yeah, but here we had this little pullback, and right here at about 10:30, you can see that we held on to VWAP. We pushed back above the moving averages, and the one thing that I want to bring up is that even though we had this little bit of a pullback, we can see that trend never broke down, and in fact, it started to improve. And in fact, we still got a new thrust signal here to the upside. So we went ahead and got back in on those contracts. Even though we lost on the initial, we got back in at about the same price that we originally got back in, so it was a little bit risky. Market was looking somewhat decent at that moment, but nonetheless, we had good positive trend. We had a nice squeeze, which technically is a bonus in my book. But yeah, trend was positive, and we also had upward thrust, and you can see that we maintained that flight throughout the entire move here, and we took those Google contracts from $1.63 all the way to $2.10. So that was a nice little move to the upside, a nice 30% gain overall, a pretty clean setup despite the market having their little bit of woes. Now, we could also look at SPY. SPY in general was just a little bit weak. I know we traded SPY a few times today, and mostly to the upside. It definitely was on the riskier end, but nonetheless, you still had this nice little crossover here into neutral bullish territory, and as you can see, we started to get some positive thrust signals, and that's pretty much all it took. As you can see, even though the market was slowly kind of doing this grind here, we can see that the trend continue to improve. And you know, we took some SPY contracts from 54 cents to 70 cents. We got stopped out, we got back in, same contract, 54 cents all the way up to $1. I was trying to sell those last ones for 100%, but nonetheless, it was a great trade overall. And then I pulled out right when we got back down to VWAP. I noticed that we were getting a nasty little drawdown here, and we just kind of stopped out as well on the last runner. So wasn't able to pull the full 100%, but nonetheless, a pretty smooth trade here. Trend improved. We had good positive thrust, and that was pretty much all she wrote. So even though the market was a little bit weak, we did get some improvement here to the upside throughout the afternoon session. So all in all, a pretty good session. Like I said, 5 out of 7 green trades on the day trades at least. Now, if we come over here and look at the daily chart, one thing that I want to point out is that sure, momentum is slowing down, especially if you're looking at the squeeze indicator. You can see that we have a few consecutive dark blue bars ever since we had this dip on the CPI print. Granted, we pretty much recovered, had PPI, and then we fell back down. But if we look here, one thing I want to bring up too is if we look at the hourly chart, and let me bring that up real quick. you can see that it's a little bit messy. I would say it's more neutral. We've had a few of these crossovers right here. If we start to lose here, you see on the oscillator, we can see when we had this dip right here, the oscillator came down, kissed the purple line here, and we bounced off of that. Now, if we start to break down here, that could definitely spill some trouble here, and we could move lower, especially with the NVIDIA earnings and the FOMC minutes. And as you can see, it's pretty much the same setup here that we had on that CPI print. We had that ugly little push down, and then we got the support, the dynamic support with positive thrust, and we pushed back higher, filled that CPI gap, and now is pretty much back to the same picture. So this move here is very identical to what we're having right now. And the question is this going to hold up like it did last time, or are we going to break trend and move lower? So that's definitely a key aspect that I am watching within these next few days to see if we recover or if we have a deeper pullback. And a deeper pullback for me initially would be to the daily 21 EMA. As you can see, we've had quite a few bounces here over the most recently. Strong bullish trend. Usually when we get a pullback to the and you have a reversion to the mean, you get these nice little bounces and off we go. But if we do move lower, then I do anticipate a retest of the daily 50 simple moving average, but we'll have to keep our eyes and ears open for that, of course. As far as everything else goes, NASDAQ still looks pretty good. Did touch the 21 EMA. Yeah, unlike the SPY, the Qs have already done it. So far, we've held. 425 is a big level. If you lose 425, you could probably move all the way down here to about 416 and 415 respectively. So that's something to keep an eye on. As far as setups goes, I'm still in these JP Morgan March contracts. I'm still looking for a move towards 184.46. And as far as future swings, my scans aren't picking up too much right now. I'm watching RTX, see if it can break out above 92. I also like General Motors. General Motors to the upside if it can break out of this consolidation, this little bit of a Darvis box here. So we'll see what happens on that. Apple lost the daily 200 today, but recovered 180. 180 is very crucial to Apple. If you lose 180 on Apple, definitely hang on to your hard hat. Don't want to do that. All right, I think that's going to be it. Tomorrow, NVIDIA has their earnings. We are expecting $4.54 on the EPS on 20.21 billion. That should be up from the 18.12 billion from their last quarter. And the anticipated move on NVIDIA is roughly plus or minus 10%. That's based on the options market maker move. So get ready, guys. A lot is about to unfold tomorrow, no doubt about that. All right, this is the Daily Squeeze. You can reach out to me. You can send me a DM at Fuzz on Discord, or you can feel free to email me if you need to. Fuzz@stockdaz.com. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.